Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with an announcement. NU has officially entered Alpha. So what this means is we now have an NU tier that we'll actually be able to play. I want to give a big shout out to Antar who made this possible. Basically for the next week or so, actually currently while I'm making this video, there isn't an NU tier on the ladder, but there will be an NU tier hopefully tomorrow. So you guys will see your first recording of NU from me by, I'm going to say Wednesday, at the latest by Wednesday. But NU is now a tier, and if you guys didn't know, tiers are based on usage. So the Pokemon, the cutoff for NU is 3.41. So every Pokemon under 3.41% usage is NU. So right now we have an RU tier list, and right here at Gudra is the final one because it's 3.43, and Necrozma ends up being 3.18. So everything from Necrozma and down has now become officially NU, at least for right now anyway. I'll actually be showing you the list as well, a few Pokemon that stand out to me, and of course this can spark some discussion in the comment section if you guys want to talk about it. But I'm definitely excited. NU has always been one of my favorite tiers in any generation. And I always love just the Pokemon that you can play around with them. But if you guys actually want to pick up my Clean 7 Years merchandise, by the way, that's available till June 5th. The link is down below, top link in the description. Hoodies, mugs, tank tops, whatnot, for summer, long sleeves and whatnot, if you guys want to. But anyway, we have some pretty crazy Pokemon in the NU tier. Number one, Necrozma, which is really cool. I just want to say, this Mon is going to be extremely devastating with Calm Mind, Stored Power, having access to Thunder Wave. I wouldn't use it as a Stealth Rocker, to be honest. I feel like in a tier where there's a whole bunch of monsters, and I'll actually show you this. Shout out to Lorenz, by the way. Shout out to Pilo, and shout out to Lorenz who compiled this list. But we have some pretty crazy mons, and I'll actually go through each one and talk about how I feel about them. Not every single mon in every single list, but for example, from the bugs, we have Shuckle, so we'll have Sticky Web and a Stealth Rocker, a good, consistent Sticky Web and Stealth Rocker in the tier, as well as something like Yanmega, which was previously banned from RU last generation for the Specs Tinted Lens set, or also the speed boosting set. It's pretty crazy because a lot of these mons you might be feeling like, oh man, why are these mons in the tier? Let's say Asfgerthrrth is my favorite Pokemon, man. It's not bad. Why is it in the NU tier? It's not based on if a Pokemon is bad or good, but it is based on usage. And because there are so many Pokemon now that we have Pokemon Sun and Moon, just some Pokemon aren't used as much as they could be. But yeah, we have some awesome bugs. We have Quiridance. We have Spikes and a Selgor. Vivillon with Quiridance Sleep Powder, that would be pretty cool. Even the dark types, we have Pangoro, which is pretty nasty down here, as well as Sneasel having a high speed tier, being able to pursue, Icicle Crash, whatnot, knockoff. Scrafty looks scary since bulk up sets and Dragonite sets can break through a lot. And even regular Sableye. But Pangoro is another one that I want to talk about too, because there was something that was mentioned. I think it was LOL Bro who mentioned it. But Z-Snatch is pretty cool on a Pokemon like Pangoro, which just gets +2 speed, allowing it to outspeed the entire tier, if I'm not mistaken, and threaten them with its great moveset of, fighting, Dark Stab, as well as Poison for fairies. And then the dragons, we actually have a bunch of different dragons. We got Dragalge dropping Specs Dracos, Kingdra, which is going to be scary either just on Rain Dance or the Focus Energy set with Draco Meteor always getting crits, or Dragon Dance. And Noivern is a really big one, having a really high speed tier, being able to drop Specs Dracos. Electric having pretty cool as well, Alolan Raichu and whatnot. Rotom, Rotom usually finding its way down here. I'm surprised Rotom's actually not RU by usage, but it'll probably go up soon. We have some decent fairy types as well. Slurpuff is, I think, a big one, especially in a tier where we do not have Deblade. Deblade is RU by usage, and Slurpuff is NU. If you guys don't know about Deblade is probably the best answer to Belly Drum Slurpuff in lower tiers. So we're going to have a Belly Drum Slurpuff with Unburden in NU. Seeming pretty busted. Whimsicott was always fun back in, I want to say, Oras, spamming U-turn, Tailwind, Memento, and whatnot, and just setting up for Belly Drum. I can see a double fairy combo and just selling up for Belly Drum Slurpuff. But we got some really cool fighting types as well. Virizion, Pangoro, Emboar, and Sock. Even Machamp is down here. Poliwrath as well. And Poliwrath actually is something that scares me because Rain is definitely something I could see. And Z Belly Drum Poliwrath on the Rain. Bandit Close Combat from Sock. It's crazy because we have a lot of mons that are down here that where initially in previous generations banned from NU, but again, it is usage. This is alpha. It's not the official tier. It will enter beta in June. The first few weeks of June, it will be in beta, and from then they'll be able to do bans and whatnot. But Machamp is going to be crazy with dynamic punching, no guard, dynamic punch. Even fire types, we have, I want to say, a Pursuiter and Houndoom. Delphox might rise up to RU. But Moltres, Hurricane, Bloom Doom, especially with Z-moves and whatnot like that, Incineroar down here. I can't wait till Incineroar gets Intimidate. Flying types, a few that come to mind initially or immediately to me are Golbat as a Defogger. We have Minior as a Shell Smash Sweeper, Noivern that can just drop triggers, we already talked about that, and even Xatu down here, which is pretty cool, being able to stop the Sticky Web and whatnot. Bulk Up Braviary can beat most anything in any tier, so that'll be really fun in the NU tier as well. Ghost types, we have a few pretty cool ghost types. Cofagrigus is one that comes to mind, especially with this generation coming with so many slow Pokemon, being able to set up Trick Room and having the Z, Never Ending Nightmare, as well as Sableye. Sableye is going to be so good versus offense and versus even fat teams in general, just being able to taunt, stall them, Will-O-Wisp and whatnot, knock off. And of course, Virizion being the grass types. Again, Ludicolo is down here, so Rain can definitely be an issue. Rain has always been a threat in NU, and I feel like down here will also be a threat. And again, I'm just glancing over the Mons and giving you just a really quick, brief, I'm just saying some brief stuff about whatever Mon that immediately comes to mind as I go through the list. That doesn't say that just because I said, oh man, Ludicolo would be great, doesn't mean Sceptile won't be great, because Sceptile is going to be amazing with Unburden. Even just being able to spam Specs Leaf Storms or Life Orb Leaf Storms. It got banned from NU previously last generation, if I'm not mistaken. We got some pretty good ground types as well. Quagsire being down here, Claydol, Rhydon always being an NU tank, setting up rocks and dual dance sets. Ice is pretty cool because we have 2 hail users or 3 auto hail users being Aurorus, Vanillix, and Abomasnow, and then we have 2 Pokemon with Slush Rush. So Sandslash would be really cool with Slush Rush. Sandslash also has access to Aurora Veil if you guys didn't know, so that'll be pretty fun. Carbolital was something that'll definitely benefit from Trick Room as well. Cryogonal as a spinner. A few normal types, we have Meloetta, that'll be pretty nice with Specs. Specs X-Cloud, spamming Boom Burst, doesn't matter about you. It doesn't matter if you're a ghost type because of Scrappy. As well as SD Zangoose comes to mind. Porygon 2 I think is a huge thing. Like, we have Stoutland down here, we have Miltank, we have Tauros, all great mons. But Porygon is something that really comes to mind because it's a Pokemon that can actually take on the onslaught of like Spectre Galgi or Bandit Tyrantrum or I want to say even like a few fire types, or just Pokemon like that, Noivern, Specs Noivern, just being able to take the hit, Thunder Wave them off, Ice Beam, knock them out. So Porygon is pretty big. Porygon 2 is actually pretty big in the tier, I would say. As for poison types, pretty standard, I already mentioned Galgi. Toxicroak is a big one as well, being a rain check as well as a great Swords Dance user, having a decent speed tier. T-Spikes, Absorbers, like Drapion, as well as T-Spike setters and Spike setters like Pokemon like Gardevoir. Necrozma, Psychic types. Again, Necrozma is going to be a huge one. Necrozma is going to be amazing. Being able to Calm Mind, Stored Power, just sweep. And you can just pair this with anything to get rid of dark types. There are plenty of fighting types in the tier that you can pair this with that can just get rid of dark types for Necrozma. And that way you can just Calm Mind and Store Power, sweep. I think Alolan Raichu is another big one. Just having Nasty Plot, having Psychic Stab, and a tier that is filled with such amazing fighting types as well, and being faster than every single one of them naturally. The fastest fighting type right here would be Virizion, which Alolan Raichu is faster than. And of course, Slowking and Slowbro. Now, again, tiers are based on usage. I think that Slowbro will eventually shoot up to UU/OU, but with Pokemon like Greninja pretty much keeping Slowbro usage at bay, in my opinion, when Greninja gets banned, or suspect to end ban, because I'm pretty sure it will be, Slowbro usage will definitely shot up. But we have Calm Mind Slowbro and Calm Mind Slowking in the tier, which is going to be really fun with Calm Mind Scald, Psyshock. As for rock types, a bunch of Shell Smashers, as well as Kabutops, again, just to abuse that rain. Tyrantrum has always been a fun and useful Choice Scarf user and Choice Band, just being able to spam Head Smash and whatnot. I think Galvanize Alolan Golem won't be the best because the Steel types in the tier don't really care about Golem at all. Like if you look right under, you have Sand Slash, Steelix, Alolan Dugtrio, Aggron. Aggron's going to be really fun, by the way, just being able to spam Head Smash and whatnot. As well as Kling Clang and Mawon. By the way, these are only the fully evolved mons, so just because you see in the ground types, you don't see... Just because like you don't see in rock, you don't see what's it called? You don't see Gigalith, and in ground types you don't see like Hippowdon or whatever. Obviously Hippowdon wouldn't be down here. It's gonna be UU right now. But that doesn't mean you can't use Hippopotas, and Hippopotas plus like Lycan Rock or Hippopotas plus Stoutland could also be pretty cool. So Sand is definitely gonna be something, as well as Sun, having Sun Abusers, having Solar Power Charizard or whatnot, Flash Power Typhlosion, Steel types. Kling Clang I think is always solid setting up. Aggron hitting hard as hell. And then we have some really nice water types down here. We already mentioned a few of them. I mentioned Poliwrath, excuse me. I mentioned Ludicolo, Almastar, Kabutops, just Rain Abuser, same thing as Kingdra, Slowbro being down here, but as well as Gastrodon. Gastrodon's going to be pretty key in checking a lot of the water types in the tier. I think Vaporeon is really good as well, especially on like stall teams, just being able to pass those fat wishes to opposing teams, something that Alomola might have done before in the RU tier. Though we are talking about any, but Alomola is gone. And I'm actually really excited to be using stuff like Simple Bidoof as well. Even Wishy-Washy, though I think that Wishy-Washy, when PU eventually becomes a tier, it will drop down there. I'm excited to use that. Another mon that could be pretty cool on stall is Pyukumuku. But the thing is that Baton Pass is banned in tiers from UU and below, and it might actually just be banned soon in the OU tier, who knows. But that doesn't mean that a Soak Toxic set can't work. I think that'd be really cool on this mon. Soak Toxic, Recover, and then like Taunt or Counter or anything like that could be really cool on this mon. So, and of course we do have Silvally all forms. Now, did I mention Venomoth? Why is Venomoth down here? No, that's February 4th. Okay, I was about to say. This isn't, this was edited a few days ago, so this is up to date. Okay, I got a little worried that the date threw me off, but Roses wouldn't have put this as this link right here if it wasn't up to date. So yeah, I'm really excited for the NU tier. I hope you guys are as well. I'll definitely be posting Showdown lives and whatnot as it comes out. I can't wait to use a lot of these mons, whether they're in Trick Room or just offense or anything like that. I think it's gonna be a crazy tier. Hopefully you guys are excited. You can give me your thoughts. You can leave them down below. Like I said, I didn't mention a lot of mons. I just mentioned the ones that just immediately stood out to me as I was going through the list. But there's plenty of gems down here in this tier. Of course, you guys can subscribe if you want. Leave your thoughts down below in the NU tier. You can check out my clean 7 years merchandise, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, friends.